Hello and welcome. I'm Lynn with Roladex Stitches Creates. This is a floss tube about cross stitch. It is Monday, June 14th, and we have just finished StitchCon Weekend A. And oh, what a great weekend, meeting so many wonderful floss tubers and cross stitchers and laughing and stitching and shopping, and wow, it was just an amazing time. So I'm going to talk about my cross stitching. I'm going to talk about my haul, but I'm going to leave StitchCon talk for the very end so that if you are a Weekend B attendee, you've got a few surprises. But I will have some video of the rag table and the first smalls exchange that I participated in. There are 3 at StitchCon each weekend. So if you're curious as to what some of the people did for their smalls exchange, you can see that. But I'm not going to talk about everything because Barbara made me promise that I wouldn't, so that I would leave some surprises for those attending Weekend B. But it was truly a great time. I'm going to start with haul today because I got something special in the mail today. I opened my door and this package, this is how it came packaged, which I think is a fabulous idea for these bags. It's those shopping bags that are the plastic vinyl, but they're like woven, so they're reusable. There's 2 of them here to use as a mailer. I think that's such a great idea. It's a great way to recycle. So this is from Genevieve, who many of you know on Instagram as Jasmine Ravenclaw. She makes all the fabulous bags. Colleen, Moon Pie Fry, and Rebel Stitcher Designs. She started the whole extra large tote bag because she wanted a tote bag that would be big enough to hold the oversized project bags that I make. So everyone's been getting them. They've been beautiful. Janet Jabber, if you saw her last video, she happened to pick out the same fabric, the Firefly, Lightning Bug, whichever way you call it. I grew up in New York. I called them both. But the Firefly fabric that I used for the June project bag, that was her tote bag. So that was an amazing coincidence. But I know what the fabric is, obviously, because I picked it out, because it's, you know, it's not an inexpensive bag. It's an investment bag. But I think it's so worth it for the quality that Genevieve does. She does beautiful work. You know, there are so many makers in our community, you know, project bag wise, tote bag wise, scissor fobs, fabric dyers. There's so many, and you would think, oh gosh, there's just too many, it's too saturated. But you know what? There is someone for everyone out there. Our community is large enough to support everyone, and you know, making a tote bag is not something I currently want to try. I won't say never, because I thought I would never be selling project bags, and here I am. But Genevieve's bags are beautiful. So I took a few months, because let's see, Colleen I think got hers in January. And it took me 4 months to finally decide on the fabric that I wanted. I knew what type of fabric. I think you can guess what type of fabric I might want. But so I'm going to open it with you. I have not looked at it yet. I have not pulled it out yet. So here we go. You ready? Here it is. Look at how beautiful that is. Oh my gosh. Absolutely gorgeous. Oh, so beautiful. It's got a zipper inside pocket. That's, you can see my whole hand fits in. There's a couple of just kind of pouch pockets. The bottom has feet, and she embroidered here her logo on the bottom. Isn't that beautiful workmanship? I love it. I love it, I love it, I love it. And what did she send me? Ah. She sent me a piece of fabric. Oh, that's great. Thank you, Genevieve. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. It is beautiful. It's got a little heart on the zipper pull. I don't know if you can see. So it is gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. You can see it zips. I like a zippered bag. I think it's nicer. I'm one that will dump things, so I love it. Oh my gosh, I think I'll put it up here so it's in the background. Yep, just stand up. There we go. All right. That's awesome. Okay, other haul. I got my first fabric of the month from Jody from Stacie Stitchers. I was able to get in when she expanded some. I was able to be added. I got 28 count Lugana, and for me, she nailed it right on the head. My two pieces. This blue, isn't it pretty? This blue is perfect. Perfect, perfect for me. And then this blue, green, purple. Oh, look at that. Isn't that pretty? So Jody, thank you, thank you, thank you. That is awesome. Absolutely perfect for me. Oh, and I had some Stitchy Kindness. Let me backtrack a little from Fabric of the Month. I had two Stitchy Kindness. When at Keepsakes, which is my local LNS, different times people will drop things off. They're cleaning out, and they'll drop patterns off to be put in the freebie boxes there at the store, kind of like the freebie table at StitchCon. And there's a long story about Moose. I'm not going to say it all now because I know this video is going to be long, because at the end it's going to be the StitchCon stuff. But as people were going through the box, they saw this and they thought of me. Moose Biscornu. And this is by Designs by Lisa. So this is a moose that'll be stitched up probably for my husband, and I'll explain more in July when I do Christmas stitching in July. At StitchCon, one of my friends got a kit, and she's a 40 count stitcher, and so she gave me the piece of fabric that came with the kit, and this is 32 count light mocha Belfast. Probably about there. That's about the color. So, just a pretty neutral. I don't always get neutral. You know, when I started cross stitching, all we had was 14 count, or mostly what we had. We had 14 count white, and we had icru or cream, and that's all I ever stitched on. for probably 20 years. That's all I stitched on. And then when I came back to cross stitching, when I moved here 2 years ago, it was a whole new world. And I only ever used DMC too. So over dyes and, you know, all the fabric dyers are just amazing to me. And it's been so much fun. I've been going crazy. Another piece of stitchy kindness that I received is this beautiful counter. Candy, the 614 Stitcher, made these counting pins for me. And when you're counting a lot of stuff across your fabric, you know, you've got to count 50 across or 40 across. You put your one pin in the start, and then you can count, and it helps you keep track. Isn't that pretty? I just love it. That was so sweet of her to do. And I used it quite a few times over the weekend at StitchCon. So I absolutely love that, and that will stay in my bag with me to travel. So other things that I purchased, one of my patterns dropped. Oh, there it is. Before StitchCon, my hedgerow pattern, Plum Street samplers, came in. Isn't it cute? Love it. At StitchCon, I was able to pick up, I talked about the new hands-on design, the kitchen collection. Life's short, lick the bowl. And she does a thing with her series where she will give a little bit of another pattern, and then if you buy every pattern in the series, you have a complete, so if it's 3 patterns in the series, you'll end up with a complete 4th pattern. And I just really love this. I'm looking forward to stitching that. And then another one that I got at StitchCon, the Blue Flower, Ginny McGowan, and Lindy Stitches, Stephanie Webb, have come together and are doing a saltwater scrapbook series, and it's blocks. And I loved Lindy Stitches. So this is the whole thing there, if you get all of them. These 5 are Stephanie's, and this one, these seagulls, just absolutely crack me up. And I know how I want to finish it, so be watching for this one. I'm going to be stitching that sometime very soon, once I catch up on all my bags and take my vacation. I'll talk about that later. And then Luminous Fiber Arts. Misty Purcell just came out with a new one. Counting is hard. Don't we all have that issue sometimes, where we're counting along and it just doesn't come out right? And I saw the model at StitchCon. It was made into a little drum, and it was so cute. But I will stitch it as a flat, much like my to go where my other one is. While at StitchCon, I hope, Barbara, this is not one of the surprises, but I got a t-shirt. Like, I need more t-shirts because I have a lot of t-shirts. But the cicadas were crazy. People were feeling dive bombed by the cicadas. They don't hurt you. If you don't like things flying at you, if you get freaked out by a bug flying at you, then, you know, it was a little creepy. But the cicadas, they don't bite. They just are not good at flying. Someone on Instagram or on the Facebook group said that their etymologist friend said they're called the idiot bug because they're so stupid. And, you know, it's partly Cincinnati Parks Department said they're underground for 17 years, living, crawling around. They emerge, they come out of their exoskeleton, and they've got wings now. And they've got a week, maybe 2 weeks to learn how to use their wings. So they're not good at them. And then they die. So, you know, they're just, they fly and they're very erratic, and so people were wigging out. But I thought that shirt was cute. I also got at StitchCon a scissor fob, and I don't do a lot of scissor fobs because I think that they get in the way, but I just loved this little kitty. The red and black kind of called to me, which is interesting since I'm more of a blue person, but that cat was so cute. So I got a scissor fob for my scissors. And then, you know, we are all a group of enablers. Whether it's patterns, whether it's fabric, whether it's floss, we enable each other left and right. Stands that we use. Well, at StitchCon, there are so many different lights and magnification. And Candy, the 614 Stitcher, she had been talking to someone, and she brought over her light for Candy to try. And I looked at it, and I'm like, that's the most fabulous thing ever. You know, last time I had gotten a new magnifier light that clips on that had a small magnifier and a light. Well, this lady had this magnifier. Look at the size of that magnifier. And this is the light. So I'm not dealing with two separate pieces, it's one piece, and I don't have to keep moving every 10 stitches. There were times with my small one where I would get it in a good spot, and then I would start leaning as I'm stitching because I'm trying to still see in that same magnifier spot. This one I can look down in, and it's a big area. The one that the lady had, now this one, it comes with a plug, so this one only works plugged in. And it has a USB port, so you can charge your phone, your tablet, whatever, while you're stitching, because it's always plugged in. The one that the lady had was one that actually charged up. So hers turned out to be a little more expensive than this one, but I think this I would not travel with. I would keep it, unless it's like StitchCon Stitch Away, where I'm gone for days at a time, stitching all day long. Days that I go over to Keepsakes to stitch, I'll still bring my small one. But hers actually charged up. So Candy, the 614 Stitcher, she's looking for that one. But, so this is the box. It's called Bright Tech. Got it off of Amazon. Where else? It comes with this weighted base, which is very heavy. This box is very heavy right now because of the base being in there. And then you can see the clips into the base. It is a very, very strong clip. Look at the size of that spring in there. So, you know, sometimes with my hands, I have some issues with my hands. It's a little difficult to get it, but once I've got it in place, it's not going anywhere. But I love it. It is a great, great light. Okay. So those were the things that I purchased. I'm going to talk about my stitching, and then I'll finish talking about StitchCon. So, I brought with me to StitchCon my Coeur de Sorciere, my witch from Tra La La, and Benjamin will put in a picture of where I was, and here is where I got to at StitchCon, which actually finishes my May goal for her, my May WhipGo goal. WhipGo, as you may know, is a monthly challenge group. You set up like a bingo card, and 2 numbers are called each month, and you set goals for the pieces and you work on them. And my goal was to finish just the witch, and I've actually started a little bit extra. So really all I had left are the vines around her that create the heart and a pumpkin. I'm probably going to put actually either in another bird or another pumpkin, or I might leave it blank. I don't think I'm going to put in the October 31st. I don't know. We'll see. But I love the way she's coming out. Also at StitchCon, the end of last month, the sixth piece of Caterpillar Cross Stitch Made to Create Sal came out. I had been, right here is where I was last time. So I finished at StitchCon, I finished the 6th piece, and, oh, there goes my bag. The 6th piece, and I, as you might remember, I had not finished that tape measure, and that tape measure is now done. I made another mistake. Don't care. It looks good. Tell me if you can figure out where my mistake is. But I'm loving it. Love the colors. And it will be finished, and it will be in here. So that's 2 things that I finished, made goals on at StitchCon. I didn't finish where I thought that I would ring the bell. One of the traditions at StitchCon, if you watch Stephanie and Pam from Just Keep Stitching, when they have a finish, they ring up the little bell. So they bring it to StitchCon, and anyone that finishes something can go up, ring the bell. They hold up what they finished, and everyone cheers and claps, and it's a great time. And if people finish something and are too shy to go ring the bell, if someone at their table sees it, the chant starts, ring that bell, ring that bell. So they shame everybody into going up and ringing the bell. It was cute. That happened more yesterday when it was Sunday. The crowd, a lot of people had left. There was still a lot of people stitching, so it was kind of a smaller, more intimate group, and so it was fun. Okay, so you know, if you've been here. If you haven't been here before, I didn't say that when I started. If you haven't been here before, welcome. I hope you've liked what you've seen so far. I hope that you'll come back. If you do like, subscribe. Be great, wonderful. And if you have been here before, thank you for coming back. Thank you for dealing with my crazy. It's quite the ride sometimes. So I have Julie from Reflections had created a 25/7. She said that if you have a piece that you're struggling with, you just can't force yourself to do it, take it, do 25 stitches or 25 minutes every day, and that will whittle away small pieces, and you will finally see progress. So I created a calendar for myself to force myself, and you can see I was very good for a while, and then we got the week of StitchCon and bag making. We'll talk about that too. So I have not worked on it since Sunday the 6th, but I did 6 good days of stitching. My Christmas stocking for my son-in-law, I call it my Christmas stocking from hell because I started it on their honeymoon 6 years ago, and we're still working on it. So this is where it was, and this is where it is now. I'm definitely making some progress. You can see that deer that Santa is talking to. So it does work. The other piece that I've been working on that I added to my 25/7, and this one once again has kind of fallen by the wayside, but I did put in quite a bit of work on it the first couple of days of June, and I hope to get back to it very shortly, is Rosewood's Manor's Dorney Lane. right here for you to see where I was last time. And this is where I am now. So I'm almost done with the first 3 pages. And that's because I went all the way across over here, almost to the corner. This is all of page 1. This is almost all of page 2. And I got into page 3 here. So I'm making a good bit of progress. Hopefully I can make more in the next 2 weeks. That is one of my goals. So that has been my stitching, except for my StitchCon start. The next stitching book club, Kristen, Sapphire Mountain Crafts, created a group, the Stitching Book Club, and every quarter she does a different book. They're all public domain books to make it very easy for anyone to get it and participate. I've done The Secret Garden, I've done The Christmas Carol, I did Sense and Sensibility at the beginning of this year, and now she just released Little Women. So my StitchCon start was Little Women. I only have a little bit at the beginning of it. I'll have put in what this full part should look like, but this is where I got to at StitchCon after I had finished my other 2 things that I was working on. So very pretty colors for this, and it will be the title, Little Women. So looking forward to working on that more. So that is all the stitching I've done. I've actually done quite a bit of stitching besides all the sewing I did. Last thing I want to talk about before I go on, I'm just looking at my notes on my wall. I now have a bulletin board behind the camera so I can use my little cheat sheets and see. Okay, so as I announced in my last video, and Colleen Rebel Stitcher announced in her last video, she and I have teamed up for Pride Month, and we have created a bag set. She picked out the fabrics actually and said, this is what I would like you to do, and I said okay, and she created a needle minder to go with it. So my producer will put in a picture of the needle minder. And I had hoped to have a bag made up, but yesterday when I came home from StitchCon, even though I came home early, the stitch room was open till 10, but by 4 o'clock I was just beat, and I came home and I took a nap. And then I started working on more bags for next week. So I have the fabrics here, since I forgot. Video messed up last time, so this will be the outside of the bag. And this will be the inside of the bag. So all you Harry Potter fans, if you want to help celebrate Pride Month, the money will be going to Glisten, G-L-S-E-N, $10 for every bag that we sell. There will only be 20. $10 for every bag that we sell. Bag and needle minder, I'm sorry. The set that we sell will go to Glisten, which is a group for education to help end bullying for people within the community. And I believe if you're within the LGBTQ plus community, and I believe that if they're teaching acceptance for that community, they're teaching acceptance for everyone, whether you're black, whether you're Asian. There's just so much hatred in this country right now. It breaks my heart. As an educator, I taught everyone equally, and you know, some of my kids would try to use it as an excuse if they got into trouble, and that never worked. You know, I love them all equally, and it's a great cause. Please I hope you'll like it too. I'm sorry I can only make 20 bags. It's just a little thing that we're trying to do, and I hope you'll support us. The Google form will go live. The link will go live on mine and on Colleen Rebel Stitcher's Instagrams on Monday, June 28th. And I'm going to say, let's say it's going to go live at noon. So West Coast, it would be 9 a.m. And it's $50. Will include your postage. So, great cost. Okay, so that's stitching, that's haul, StitchCon. When we checked in, I had my name tag here, and it has disappeared somewhere in the shuffle. Goodness. You have everything all set up, laid out nice, and then things disappeared. Oh well. It was great. We checked in, we had found our table. There was 4 or 5 8-foot-long tables set up. If you had things that you didn't want anymore, you took them out of your stash. Mostly patterns. Some people got some really good patterns off that freebie table. They were very lucky. And I was sitting at a table next to it, and I would walk by. I found things for the 614 stitcher, but never anything for me. Fabrics, floss, there were some stands. It was crazy what was on that table, and people were just, it was great. It was a lot of fun. People would go all weekend long. There was a brag table, and I have a video. The brag table was probably 8-foot tables at least. But I have a video of that as well, so that'll be at the very end. And you know, if you want to sit through the videos, great. I'm sorry if I got going a little too fast, made you sick. But it was amazing to see some of the things that people brought. Everyone got in their packet a little StitchCon passport, and inside are some patterns. I'm not going to tell you by who in case you're with Weekend B, so you'll be surprised. And we got a couple other things I will show next time in my video, because like I said, Weekend B, I want you to be surprised. There was a smalls exchange at StitchCon, and as I said last time, I wasn't sure I was going to do it. I was making bags. I had finished up my June bags. I was working on bags for the local quilt store here because I wanted to get her, I hadn't gotten her any for a while. I wanted to get her some. And then I started making bags, project bags, for StitchCon for my trunk show. I ended up with 45 project bags. Barbara asked me to split them up so that there was Weekend A selection. There were 33 in that selection. And then I had some for Weekend B that were patterns that were in Weekend A, but I didn't have any more fabric from, so that Weekend B still got a chance at some of those fabric patterns. And now I'm sewing more. You might have been able to see I've got fabric all lined up here on my sewing table that I will be the next 3 days just putting project bags together, so that B has as many as Weekend A had. And I am floored and amazed and thankful. My project bags, all 33 of those, sold out Weekend A. Thank you. Thank you for all your wonderful compliments. If you watch and I met you during Weekend A and you bought a bag, I mean, it was an amazing feeling. It was great to meet everyone. I'm sorry if I was awkward. There were a couple of people I met, and I know I was very, very awkward, and I am so sorry. that I was so awkward. But so having said all that, I wasn't sure if I was going to do the smalls exchange, but I got all the project bags sewn and invoiced and over to Keepsakes Wednesday afternoon late, and went to see my grandson because he's a preemie. Even though he's 2 months old now, he's still kind of at risk immune system wise because he was a preemie. I went over to see him for the afternoon because I won't see him probably this week, just because making sure no con crud. You know how that goes. You get in a room, even though everybody's been quarantining, everyone traveled, so you never know what might come along. So I wanted to see him, and then Thursday morning I got up and I woke up early, and I'm like, I really want a small for the smalls exchange. What am I gonna do? Well, I looked in my cross stitch that I already had. I had a few things that I have stitched but never FFO'd, and I created a notions pouch. And my producer will put in pictures here of the front. And that fabric, if you like it, be looking, because Christmas in July might be a regular size project bag. And then the back. So put it up on the table. I was in the first group of smalls exchange on Friday afternoon, and my small was picked up by the SneezyStitcher, Cindy. And here's a picture of us here. And she was very excited to get it. She was really sweet. If you have not watched her, she has a Flosstube as well. So go check her channel out. She's got some nice things, and she stitches all size counts. So that's kind of fun to see. I picked up this cute bag, and everyone was asked to kind of package their small to fit the theme of what they stitched. And actually there were a lot of bees up there, and I got my friend Liz, the Wandering Stitcher. You've seen her on Flosstube on Rebel Stitcher's channel, and she did this little tart tin, and look at that 40 count bee skep there with those sunflowers. And then she also stitched this little bee, and our friend Susan made it into a berry. Look at the top of that. Isn't that adorable? That little sunflower charm. So I was pretty lucky. Yes, I did know what her bag was, and I knew I wanted it. And when I saw it was still up there, I grabbed it. So that's my small that I got in the exchange for StitchCon. I also have a video of the smalls exchange, so you can see from my group. I did not do a video for group, the white group, which was Saturday morning, or the red group that were, no, I was red group. Blue group, that was Saturday afternoon. I didn't do videos for them. Beautiful, beautiful stitching and work. So, I exchanged a lot of needle minders and things like that, and I put a picture here of the needle minders my husband and I made, and I had them on my business card. And then we got a lot of different things. My husband's telling me the timer's going off for dinner. I thought I would be faster than that. I'm talking a lot today. But I have a whole basket here of things that I got. Of course, had to get the Albus needle minder from Rebel Stitcher because I am part of the Albus fan club. I got a little bee needle minder from Bees and Tees, Sebastian. Sebastian has a Flosstube. Check that one out. I got from the crazy band lady, Zan. Her floss tube. Let's see. It's a little bumblebee there. Gazelle's needlework. Did a little kind of a clay lollipop. It's not, oh man, I can't get that to go. There we go. And I will not go through the whole bag. I just want to show you a couple other things. Tammy Blaylock, Creative Country Girl. I got scissors. She had a couple of different things, and this is what I chose. I think you might recognize Sunshine Stitchers gave out floss drops. Isn't that cool? And a couple of people did floss drops. Garon, little keychain, and some Gary Green floss. And then a Garon needle minder. Some other floss drops. Look at those floss drops. Aren't those pretty? More needle minders. That's a waffle. Got a Yoda one. My favorite, milk chocolate bar. Let's see. Got a couple of threaders, which I thought was a cool idea. B. And where did my other ones go? Oh my goodness, they're not in my basket. Okay, so I will, oh, here's another needle, or another threader, and that's from Sharon. And I'm not sure, she didn't put her name on that. Another threader. And more floss drop. Isn't that pretty? So I got all kinds of fun stuff. From Nancy. Little owl. Isn't that cute? Wooden needle minder from Lindsay. So I will try to put together everything in a picture, and that will be part of the pictures at the end of the video. So that is all for today. I'm going to say goodbye to you. If you don't want to watch the video from StitchCon, even if you're going next weekend, our brag table will be different than yours, and our smalls exchange will be different than yours. So those are the two videos. So I'm going to put some pictures of people I met. Great time meeting people. Got to meet Carla, Roladex Stitches. You know, you always wonder if people are like they are in real life. And Carla, oh my gosh, Carla is exactly like she is in her videos. Athena, Stitching Goddess Designs, Beth from bizzybstitches, Janet from Janet Jabber. I met Ronnie, Gary, Shelia, and EJ from Sunshine Stitchers. So pictures will be coming up of people that I met and some of the room, and then videos of our brag table and the smalls exchange. So I will see you next time. I hope you get lots of stitching in. Thank you for stopping by, and I'll see you in 2 weeks.